Anyway, I'm gonna mute then.
Yeah, no worries. Are we live? It says we're live. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Watch the chat take 3 days now to catch up. Oh, there we go. Lovely. Hello, how's it going, Con? Can you hear me all right? Hey, we're live. There we go. British is here. Yep. Lovely. Soda, do you want to say hello? Soda's knocking about. He's only just woken up, so bear with him.
Hello, hello.
Excellent.
Hello.
There we go.
Yeah, I know. Here I am, ready to do this.
Lovely jubbly. We've got Tip, who's currently just sorting his kids out, that he'll be with us. He will be moderating. Oh, the audio stream bitrate currently is 0, lower than yeah. You can all hear me though, pretty good, yeah. Oh, I don't know. We'll see.
I certainly can.
We're in Discord though, aren't we? Oh, Banana's back. I thought, yeah, we can hear you. We hear you. Ah, lovely jubbly. That is juicy. Audio fine. Fantastic. We'll just give Tip a couple of minutes to... Oh, he's here. Excellent job. Right, I'm going to get the chat on my phone because I only have one monitor. Look, Mom, I'm on TV. You idiot. How do we... live chat? Why is that not doing nothing? Weird adverts coming up. Audio 11 out of 10. Don't know how you do that one. Let me just get it sorted on my phone because it seems to be having a funny do. Thank you, Leon Moore. Yes, he is. Leon Moore, welcome back, some tip. So we also have Leon Moore. He is a buddy of mine as well. We've got Sir Tip here. He is modding. We've got Soda Crackers, who is going to be doing the thing. Ah, Infenza! Hello! Infenza is the developer of the game that we are going to be...
Oh.
Is he in? Was that him? No, it's not. I thought it was here then.
He's in the YouTube chat, yeah. Hello, Infenzia.
Yeah, how's it going? Just,
and all of chat.
It's what? Let me just get the chat back up because being a little bit of a spaz live. It's annoying how I get adverts on my own videos now, not gonna lie. Turn the volume off it because I can hear it here. Oh, live chat. Live chat replay is on. Messages are appeared when the stream was live. I don't know what's going on there. Oh, that's the test. I've clicked on the wrong one.
Out of curiosity.
Yeah.
Who in chat has played Line War before?
Oh, this is a good question.
What is the proportion of folks who actually have played the game, seen it?
Not gonna lie, number one and counting. Let's spread anti-French propaganda. No, let's not do that, Carl. Only I'm allowed to do that. I have played Line War before. Not me, not me. I have. Oh, we're about 50-50. Well, we've got
the two finalists, Tomahawk and AK, have.
Obviously, Emphasis, you've bloody got the game. You helped made it. We've also got, before we get started, we'll just give a couple of people a minute to join. I'll start the game, actually. Or, in fact, a few of you have been asking about a Discord. Is that something that you would like to join? Before we get started, send the Discord. Yes, sir. Yes. Oh, wow. This is quite a few people. Tip, I know you aren't on voice chat right now. You're muted. Did I give you the thing? Oh, was it in here? Tell you what, I'll just have a gander. It doesn't matter if you see it. Front screen, invite people, copy. And, oh, there we go. He's done it. There you go. We'll see if that works. At the moment, it is very basic. We only built this afternoon. Send the Line War Discord also. Oh, you want that as well? Absolutely. Ooh, wrong button there. Line War Discord. Invite people. Copy. Paste. There we go. The first one I sent is my Discord. It's very basic. Please don't abuse it just yet. It will need a bit of work. And the second one is for Line War itself. Excellent job. So, right, let's have a look at the game itself that we're going to be doing. We'll not abuse it. Thank you, chaps. It is going to be Line War. Let's have a look. So I've got the chat in front of me here. Might just, I will smite you with my hammer if disco. Yes. Beware of the tip. Right. Is that music far too loud? Hopefully we sorted this out last time. We did a little test. Can you tell me if this works for everybody? Is it not too screamingly loud like it was the other day? Let's spam memes in Discord. Oh no. For me it's fine. No, it's good, fine. It's not loud. We can still hear it, yeah, Khan? Right, that'll do. Absolutely. Right, so the whole point of this Line War. This is a relatively new game. They did a big update not too long ago, and there was a tournament. The game is recently starting to pick up in player numbers. It is an absolutely fantastic little gem of a game. I love it. Even before the previous patches, it is only improved by vast amounts. I honestly recommend getting it. However, we do have more keys than I thought that we had to dish out to all of you people that are watching. So if you stick around, what I've decided to do is I'm going to get the pregnant girlfriend to come down and pick some names at random who will be receiving a Steam key of the game for free. How does that sound? Man's Mr. Beast. What's the game about? What are you on about, Carl?
They're calling you Mr. Beast.
They're calling me Mr. Beast? No. I don't like him. I don't like his videos, not gonna lie. Interesting. No cap. What's no cap mean?
Not lying. That's the truth.
Oh. Right, I don't know what these terms mean. Surely the game's not about lines. Why don't you like his videos? Well, I've only I don't know, it's just a bit too much. I'm a very picky person. What's with all the tongue sticking out? Have you got issues? Right, anyway, so yeah, this whole thing was about the tournament, and we are going to watch the last two, the final of the tournament between these two players, Akhmidsk, if that's how you say it right. We practiced this, but we're never quite sure how it was. And Tomok. There was two, and which one was it that was first? It was the 15-minute one, correct? Soda?
Yeah, it was the one at 1604.
Lovely,
yeah.
Lovely. Right, are we ready to start looking at the tournament? After this one, I'll give away one CD key, and then at the other one, I'll dish out a couple more. How does that sound? Game.
Do you mind sharing your screen on the Discord?
Oh, have I not done that?
Also, the chat comment, is the game like those mobile money games?
Absolutely not. This is something completely different. This is a fabulous...
Good question, though.
Yeah, Steam Line War, blah, blah, blah. There you go, that should be good for you now.
Got it.
Excellent. No, it's a bit like Command and Conquer, but better. Yeah, actually, what? Do not say what is Command and Conquer. Disgusting, man. Right, let's have a get in there. So, Soda knows a bit more overall about this game. So we're just going to load the replay and talk about what's going on and everything else, because we've got a few people in now, 50 people. I think overall we've got about 10 keys we can actually dish out in Fenza. Dished out some more, which we can give. So let's have a look. So this is the very beginning, okay? Soda, explain what this is.
Yeah. Okay, so in line where all the maps are asymmetrically and randomly generated, so you'll see that we're on seed 1111 right now. What we're doing is it's a best of 5 finals between AK, Misk, and Blue, and Tomahawk and Red on this game. AK Misk has a 1-game lead because they came from the upper bracket. It was a double elimination bracket, so if you lost the game in the upper bracket, you got knocked down to the lower bracket. But if you won all your games in the lower bracket, you got to the grand final. So that's what Tomahawk did here. So it's 1-0 AK, best of 5. This is the first map. Players are going to pick territories, zones of interest where they would like to go through a picking phase. That kind of balances out the asymmetric part of the map. And then players will pick their starting territories after they've highlighted where they want to go. We'll see it play out here.
Yeah, well, we've got a little bit of time before it properly begins, so we'll go through it a little bit more in detail. So, what's happened here? So, Bravo team, or Tomahawk, has attempted to try and pick this location here in red to start. Blue team, I'm not saying that every time, it just baggles my head, has tried to pick this area just to the northeast of that area. Now, because there's this grey area, and it lets me zoom out, in the middle, this area is where they both tried to choose that area, meaning none of them can actually start there. In the picking phase, it is basically like a big game of poker, because where you start influences the rest of the game massively. For example, over here, you have lots of little things. Oil. It's carrying on more. You've got these little houses which you could build industries on, and other bits of things like that. Soda, if I zoom out on this map, tell us why the players are picking the areas that they're picking.
So, top right here, I think both players want to pick because there's all these different energy refineries, like these energy wells. You see them with the little lightning bolts and the smokestacks. So there's 4 of them in the top right. There's 3 towns. There's a city location in the top right, the very top right, which is connected to those little industries. You see the little wheat symbol, the lumber symbol, and the diamonds. And so this is generally, like, I think the most potential for the players to start and then get a good eco start with enough energy to build all the units that they need. And clearly both players feel that top right place is the place to go, since they both picked their first.
There is a lot of economy there, isn't there? And the fuel. The fuel is very important because that allows you to have your aircraft functioning, your navy functioning, the ballistic missiles functioning, the tanks functioning. It's not very good, is it, Soda, if you start running out of fuel when you're in the midst of a offensive or even a defensive?
Yeah, no, it's horrible. If you run out of fuel with energy-consuming units, you'll see black smoke come out of them, and then they take extra damage for the next 5 seconds. It's like 50% more damage or something for the next 5 seconds. And of course, you can't move your units. It's a huge, like, it ruins the momentum of the players and like what they're trying to do in their build. It's very important to keep the energy levels topped up.
Absolutely. So while we're just looking at the or waiting for the players to actually pick where they're going to choose, let's have a quick zoom in on the map. Doesn't actually look too detailed, however, there are many little things that you need to be aware of, isn't there? So, for example, this over here, there appears to be a mountain range. This affects many things, doesn't it, Soda? For example, if you place building here and things, it hides them in the mountains.
Yeah, I mean, you have the tooltip on it, and it's exactly what it's doing. There's a lot of geography in Line War is a huge deal. Mountain ranges are great defensive positions. It's great to put a mountain range between you and your enemy. There's visible, like there's stealth characteristics to building your buildings and having units in both forests and mountains. So your opponent won't be able to see you as easily. They'll need to have more units around to actually detect your units that are sitting in the forests. Infantry do great in the forest. You can see they have a bonus like 20% defense and firepower.
That is a lot.
And of course, units move way slower through forests and mountains.
And the overall economy section of it, however, before we begin, hopefully we'll explain it. Very close to beginning now. You gain money in this by controlling territory. Each territory gives you a certain amount of money each turn, and then you can also get it with the towns and cities. Go on, Soda, sorry.
No, absolutely. No, you got it. Capturing territory gives you income per minute. Building little farms and these towns give you income per minute. This little dotted line that we're seeing right now, that would be a trade route. So if the players got both those towns and ports on either end of this dotted line, it'll give them a lot of economy. There's merchant ships that get made. They're just container ships. And as soon as they deliver goods, you make a bunch of money off of that.
Does anybody have any questions before we get... Oh, here we go. It's already started. Any questions, honestly, about how the game works? Anyone know? Anything? Do feel free. We are watching the chat. We'll just continue going on. Where are the lines? Well, you'll see them. It's Control C, isn't it? Here's a few lines. This is what the line war thing is about. So this is blue team. He has started in this top right corner, immediately sending his units to capture territory to gain more money. Got a industry in the mountains there to generate more cash. And he has these, which are factories and barracks, which all produce infantry, special ops, tanks, artillery, and what's the other one? SAMP sites. And then we've got red over here with a different start altogether, with a dockyard and a submarine pen, with a airfield. What do you make?
The dock in the water is kind of like what they're choosing instead of this town and industry. So far I'd say this is a very good start for blue. The real only strategic thing that red has here to help is this airport that's building helicopters. Because we haven't seen an airport from blue yet.
No, these helicopters can be absolutely lethal. They are a bit of a glass cannon, but you get them in the right position and all this area will quite happily be swept off the earth. Lots of artillery by the looks of things from blue. Before we carry on, let's which button is it? Control F. This is the field of view. This is what blue can currently see, which is not very much. As you can tell, they can only see that red is around the area. There is a fog of war. If we swap it to red, this is what they can see. Because we are viewing a replay, we can actually have a gander at the whole thing. Lots of more production units coming out from blue. This could mean a rush, couldn't it, Soda?
Yeah, it could mean. I mean, there's artillery pieces and SAMs being created from blue right now, so it's great that AKA has started building SAMs to counteract these red helicopters. Blue hasn't scouted the fact that red's going for helicopters, but it's just a good defensive opener. Whether it's going to be a rush, not really sure. Certainly blue has way more units because they've started on 3 barracks and red doesn't have as many barracks.
We've got a question here. Do you control the units or are they assigned to lines? I'm going to read the question out to you, Soda, if you want to answer them.
Sure. The units are assigned to lines in a lot of ways. They respond to commands that you put on the screen, that you draw on the screen. So we can see here, like, these blue infantry are going to head towards some of these lines based on the logic of the game. You don't actually click on individual units to control them. You just kind of paint these commands on the screen and then watch it happen. Also, for anyone saying like the leg sounds like a newscast or something, it's because I'm in west coast of North America and T's in Britain. The fun thing about this game, though, is that there's no lag on the in the game depending on your region. Like we don't have region lock to like Europe or NA or Asia or whatever. It's just a global queue. And in Fenzia might be able to talk about more how that works.
Tip says he needs a cup of tea. Something that we just saw there, we had red team sending a couple of units to try and attack the base, and then he's pulled them back to preserve units. Probably because this engagement is going on. What do you make of this? Look at the helicopters go with the SAMs.
Yeah, yeah, 2 SAMs against 2 helicopters. I think the SAMs are going to do decent here. They might even get both of the helicopters. The SAMs, when they're shooting that machine gun, that's actually most of their DPS. The rocket that you see doesn't do as much.
Well,
but there you go. They get the second one with that range.
It certainly looks like it's going to be a dominating thing. Oh, look at this. We nearly missed this one. This is the special ops. If we look at Tomahawk, can you see that unit? No. So if we switch back to there, this is a spec ops. They are the SES or the Navy SEALs of the game. Looking at this, you cannot actually see it because the units are not numerous enough to spot such a unit. So he's going to come in the back of Tomahawk's production centers, and it immediately looks like Tomahawk is on the back foot here. Have you seen this often, Soda?
Yeah, well, you certainly are right. I think that Red's on the back foot, given how big this blue army is. It'll be tough for Red to defend this, I think.
Just not enough forces there, is there? What do you make of this dockyard move with the submarines and the other units?
I think if the game went long, it could pay off, but, you know, anything that's being built on the water now can't help out against this land force from Blue. The big advantage that Red has at the moment is that their airport was a little bit quicker. AK put down an airport we saw a little bit later than Red. Helicopters pick up the commandos, but it'll be tough for these helicopters to do anything against the main army because there are SAMs already.
They're a little bit further back, but there's three of them now.
There.
So this looks like Blue is definitely on the advantage here. What other questions do we have that I've missed? Has the war already begun? Well, it has now. That's a little bit late. I'll just skip through these comments for a minute if you want to keep talking, Soda.
Sure. Well, so there's 2 artillery pieces here for Blue. There's not really enough infantry to overpower this. There are tanks on the field. You can see that in the mountains there. Those 2 Red factories pumping out tanks. There's 1 refinery for Red, so that can definitely handle how many energy-consuming units are on the field, these helicopters and tanks. But the 3 SAMs for Blue are going to make it tough for these Red helicopters to do much. And this is probably a pretty dire situation for Tomahawk. And we got free camera.
Yeah, I'm going to try
Moist going for the free camera. Looks so sweet.
There we go.
And then Blue's just going to push up to this mountain range and likely overwhelm this. We're about to see these SAMs engage these helicopters. 3 SAMs against 2 helicopters. One SAM is highly damaged, but still in favor of the SAMs.
Yeah, it certainly looks like Blue has the advantage
blue
now.
Helicopters are there.
Encroaching onto the base itself. It looks like this. Surely it's got to be a rollover now. These tanks, how effective are these going to be against this amount? It's a tank, isn't it? You'd think they'd be able to take out infantry quite well.
Yeah, they really do. It's just the mass of Blue is the problem, because all these artillery pieces in the back are going to be able to attack them. Tomahawk's doing a good job to kind of retreat them before they get taken out. Tanks are pound for pound the best unit on land in just straight up fights. If you have enough energy to run tanks, we've seen so many times in games where players will actually like almost only build tanks, right? Very strong unit.
Absolutely. Well, it looks like...
And is that it? That's the game.
Blue gave up on that. So this is round 1 of 2 for the final. I like to think that that showed you at least some of the mechanics or how it works. Do you have any questions? Was anything not clear? I mean, there's still lots of... Yeah, they surrendered, but that's only one battle. Some battles can go on for at least an hour. I think the longest one I've ever had was 2 hours before we finally decided to call it quits because we were just knackered.
That was red surrendering. So blue won that game. So AKA goes up 2-0 in this best of 5 series.
Why did red lost?
Why did red lose? So that blue army, I think, would have killed all of those producing structures.
Yeah, he resigned.
The economies for blue, because they started... Yeah, blue started on that town and industry and already would have had more economy. We'll see this in the next game. Maybe we'll outline some of the economy numbers. But you can see here in the graphs, if you go to the income tab for this, we'll be able to see that blue is probably making way more money. If you scroll down.
Oh, yeah,
near the
there
bottom,
we go.
there it is.
So this is money.
Yeah, so right from the beginning, exactly. Yeah, this is money per minute, I believe, that they're making. That's their income generation. And you can see that jump between blue and red. I think that's the difference between blue building a town and a industry and red not.
Yeah, so having 100 cash extra every minute really pays off. And it only got worse, but red could not produce enough units, and they also focused on the navy. You've only got so much money, so that is why blue won that. They had the economy more focused on land-based combat, meaning they overran red's forces gradually, which definitely didn't do them any favors. Who would like a copy of the game? I'm going to give a key out now. Hello, 3 p.m. Almost woke up. Too
Moist
late.
beast.
Are you able to choose your unit's production, or are they just pumping out troops non-stop? Yes, you can choose the production and what they produce. Hopefully, we can see that a little bit later on. Great play, Tom. Yes, that navy play. Not me. Me, please. It's pretty common.
Yeah, so like barracks can produce infantry or commandos, or they produce nothing. So you have settings when you have buildings, the different building types. Barracks, of course, like you can set it to produce only infantry or only commandos, or a mix of commandos and infantry. And it picks what unit to build based on your income at the moment that it decides to build a unit when it's free to build one. And so the same thing goes for any of the production structures. Submarine pens can only build submarines. Docks can build transport boats for units. Destroyers, which are good against submarines. Missile boats, obviously, so they can deal with anti-air. And cruisers, which are, like pound for pound, the best navy to navy unit. And airports can build helicopters, interceptors for air superiority, strikers for ground attacks, bombers for doing devastating damage to buildings and chipping away your opponent, and transport planes to drop commandos into places. Factories can build artillery pieces, which are great against infantry, tanks, which are great against pretty much everything in general, a little bit, with a lot of caveats, and then SAMs, which are surface-to-air missile units for against planes. Hopefully we can see what I'm saying, but there you go. Like, you can choose what you're building. Any building at any time, you can click on it and decide what is it going to build for you.
That pretty much sums it up. I'll just see about getting the missus to come down, and please stop spamming. I am asking a question. Yeah, don't spam the chats, please. We want to keep this sociable. Subs. Yes, there are subs in the game.
They're
they
just
are
excited.
very nasty.
They want the key.
Yeah, I'll just slow this right down. I'm just trying to get it up. So while I find the key and get the missus, I'm going to get our lass to choose one of you to have the key. How does that sound? It's not biased at all that way. Pregnant girlfriend, as many of you know who watch the channel. I'll let Soda just describe the map. Soda, where would you choose to start your position on here and why? I'll be back in 2 seconds.
So I think in this situation, there's probably 2 different places that you could decide to go. One of which would be on this island here. You can't see where I'm pointing, but okay, you have the main landmass here in the middle, the top middle. That is probably the best place to go because land and territory that you control is the biggest indicator of how much eco you have in general. That island to the right of this main island with all the wheat symbols, the one energy and city and town. That one right here. Yeah, this is another place that you could potentially go. There's a trade route that could get set up. You generally want to start in the middle of a map because it gives you the most access to everywhere else.
T has returned. I
and
have
answer.
Would it be Mrs. Moist or Mrs. T? No. Right, I've got Ardas here now. She's currently looking at the thing. Please don't spam. One person at a time. She will pick one person out of everybody that says Moist in the chat now. Go. Everybody say Moist and Ardas will choose somebody. I'll have to wait for it to go through. Oh, here we go. We're getting a few. Oh, wow. This is a few.
Digger Ocean is one as well.
Who?
Digger Ocean.
Digger Ocean, where's that?
Yeah.
Digger Ocean, you have won yourself a copy of the game. If you go on to one of my videos, the latest one, oh, actually, leave a comment at the end of this. I'll write it down. Have you got a pen? I need a pen. I'll write your name down and leave a comment. I'll find you and I'll privately message you the Steam key once I've done with this stream. There will be several more to come, so stick around. Infenza, the developer who will be popping on, has given me plenty of keys to play around with just for this. Do not disappear if you want a copy. Right, let's get back into this game. So
I've got the name written down for you, T.
Ah, excellent tip. So, it looks like both players are wanting to choose this middle island. There's a lot of landmass there. Seems like a good place, doesn't it, Soda?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we see Tomahawk's gone for most of this main island. It looks like AK is favored a little bit more on this little right island to it.
Absolutely. And one of the features in this game is the sea territories that you have here can actually be chosen as your starting territory, meaning if you do it carefully, you can actually dribble across and have starting units across the entire area. But if Red was to start strongly on this island, do you think Blue would be able to hold on to that forward outpost?
It's certainly a risk, and it's difficult to do that if your opponent outnumbers you in the number of territories that they've selected because they start with more units. And when you split yourself between 2 different land masses, it just makes it a lot more difficult. But you definitely can do it. And it's a little bit of a greedy start sometimes if you want to put production buildings on 2 different land masses at once so that you'll be able to cap 2 different land masses at once. But that's the risk involved, is that it can get shut down very quickly. Like if Blue just picked on this red part of the island here and got surrounded and crushed,
yeah,
it would definitely set Blue back at least.
I mean, looking at the other areas in the map, there's actually quite a few which are quite juicy. For example, this area down here, I've got more of a trained eye for it than the average viewer who's never seen this before, but there's a lot of money to be made here. There's not much territory, but there's lots of industry, which counts for, 5 territories? Something like that. 2.2 territories. There's a city, which equals to 12. The port, which is another several. And then the trade ships itself counts for loads. Really, if you do it correctly and defend it, all these trade routes would equal a greater income than the landmass itself, no?
You're totally right. As long as you could move on to other landmasses over time and not get outpaced by your opponent. The cool thing about Line War is that although there is generally 1 or 2 very obvious favorable positions on a map, you can make a lot of different things work. Like you mentioned in the bottom left, if a player went there, when both players here know that the best spot is to spawn is in the center, Well, now you know by spawning in the bottom left that you have time before your opponent's going to be able to get to you. So maybe you can go super greedy and get up 3 trade routes or something like that, and then have your eco power you through.
Yeah, there's a lot of... also, one other feature of the picking phase, which is what this is, you have all these areas which the enemy can see that you have chosen to show interest in. However, you can only choose certain areas and be able to choose, what is it, maximum 5 territories that you start with. So you never actually know where the enemy has
6,
been.
but yeah, close, yeah.
Yeah, so this over here, the enemy could start here or all the way up here. You actually don't know. I think we'll just zoom a little bit and get this over with. There we go. So red has got the island on the left, the big juicy one. And blue has here. What do you reckon of this start? Lots of navy. You'd think that would be quite a key feature of one, given it's got lots of ocean and passages and things.
Yeah, I think when AK picks here and goes for this eco to start and these 2 docks, potentially just expecting that Tomahawk's going to pick on the mainland mass, so maybe build some missile boats out of these docks to protect this island from drops or planes.
Well, these areas...
It's a little bit unexpected, I think, that AK would have gone on that island.
Yeah, you'd think both teams would push for the big one, but at the same time, it does look like red is going for tanks straight away with helicopters, expecting a land battle straight away. No navy units to speak of. However, blue would definitely seem to think, well, looking at it, he looks like he's aiming to invade this island, while red looks like he's getting ready to defend an island.
Yeah, I think you're reading that right.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way.
With the tanks and the helicopter. I mean, the helicopters... Sorry, the helicopters for Tomahawk will be able to help attack the island, but these 2 tanks aren't going to be able to do much. And I would expect that red was expecting, like, AK to be on this island with them.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way.
But again, blue's going to have way more economy than red over time.
Yeah, looking at it already, because we'll actually keep an eye on it this time. Red, even though... Oh, look at this mistake. The infantry can't pass. This is going to slow him down because he won't be able to capture this territory. What do you think of that? Have you seen that often?
So definitely, I mean, it's happened to me a bunch when I've played ladder games.
Devastating.
Is that it looks like I could move through something. There's tooling introduced into the game during the map selection phase that will let you see if a path is actually traversable.
I didn't actually
know. And I think like quality of life on that is improving.
Oh, here we go.
But if I had a nickel for every time, yeah, I had infantry sitting there.
This is the first landing craft. It looks like it's
build a bridge. I can't wait.
Yeah, build a bridge. That would be good. At the moment, we've only got landing craft to play with. However, looking at this, the command is to go down here, which is something that we did spot to be a very large economic hub down here. What do you think of this? Because he's certainly not going for the assault, whereas red is actually doing a bit of scouting now.
I think what this means for AKA is that over time they're going to get even further ahead on the eco if they can set up those trade routes in the industry in the bottom left. It's a good movement by this blue missile boat to track this helicopter back home. It certainly will get it.
Our lass has just reappeared in the room. Does somebody else
or do
want
I just
another
look
key?
like an arse? Yeah, there we go.
Oh, helicopter just went flying, that is for sure. Everybody, do it again. Shout Moist in the chat for your chance to win another one. Our last is here. F in the chat for the heli. Moist. Go, 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 before she picks one. Say something, Lise, just so they can hear you. Say hello.
Hello.
There she is.
That Dr. Banana.
Dr. Banana, there you go. I guess that's kind of the mood that she's in tonight. Love it. Dr. Banana, Sir Tip, can you write that down for us? I'm sure we will. Right, let's get back to the game quickly. These tanks, he shoved them up here. Is that to... do you think that's where he expected the enemy to be?
Potentially. I mean, they're definitely scouting whether this town and port exist. It'll be tough for Tomahawk to use these tanks at this point, just because in order to land tanks on a landmass, you have to control that territory on the landmass. You can see how there's like red borders around these different territories indicating that Tomahawk has them. So if Red wants to land on Blue's island at the moment, the tanks can't be the first things to go across in the transport boats.
No,
Red would have to get enough units to actually secure a territory, which would be very difficult.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think the tanks just kind of prevent a landing from Blue and hang out.
Yeah, it's got to be. But it also looks like Blue has a superior navy. This is the view that Red can see. So they can see already they have plenty of naval ships, and they can already see that there's a city there pumping money into Blue's economy. They are building helicopters and interceptors. The interceptors are probably the best units for scouting out. They have very good range and lots of submarines being built. Do you think that is the reaction to the visible presence of the ships that Blue has?
Yeah, and the submarines can also be really good for destroying merchant ships between trade routes, because submarines are obviously stealth, and then also the transport boats that are moving units for Blue. So say Tomahawk has a submarine between that transport route from Blue's main island to that bottom left. The submarines can easily snipe those little transport boats. It's still, I think at this point, it's already very difficult for Red to come back in some sense in this game. There's 3 docks already for AK and like total naval supremacy, at least to defend their island, and they're going to slowly get this trade route up.
Yeah, that is
because these missile boats
true.
will be able to defend it.
Something that is happening here. This is a sandbag, a defensive line. Any unit that manages to build these gets tired, but once they have recovered from getting tired, they are then in a much stronger position. This is very good for defending certain areas. Has their limits, but it is very good. He managed to get his units around there eventually, but Blue is definitely sticking units everywhere, starting to capture all of these territories, which could have very large economic bonuses if he manages to develop them further. That would be good. Looking at this, he's got plenty floating around. He's capturing territory. He's not in a rush, is he?
No, certainly not. I think Blue also probably understands that they have more economy right now with all these different farms that they've built, these two towns, pardon me, and the opening for the trade route. So I think the longer the game goes on, like, the better it is for Blue.
At this current rate, it would certainly seem like that. We've got an airport coming up. We just heard a beeping then, and looking at this, this is the energy. This is the fuel. Blue only has 1 refinery, which is currently fueling all of his ships and soon-to-be aircraft. Is 1 refinery going to be enough? It looks like he's beginning to build another one.
I think the rule of thumb given by some of the top players is that you go 1 refinery per full airport. So, you know, there's 5 planes on an airport. If you have 1 airport, you probably want 1 refinery. And so, like, with docks, it's kind of the same thing. Once you build enough boats, you're going to need another refinery to support it. So I think 2 refineries right now for an airport that's beginning to get constructed for Blue, and then 3 already completed docks with this number of boats is probably like the bare minimum you could go with. 1 refinery certainly wouldn't be able to support that.
So what about Tomahawk now? He's got some aircraft being produced, a couple of tanks floating around. He is developing this industry, though. That's got to be the thing. He's going to run out of expansion room soon. He has to do this, right?
Yep, you got it right, 100%.
And then you've got all this area which is still being captured. Where do you think Red is going to go once he's captured that area? Because he's only just getting a dockyard to potentially move some units, but he's not even got any barracks floating around. What is he going to have to move if he's going to contest one of the islands? It's going to be very difficult, isn't it? Especially seeing as they already know that they've got a must-have as superior navy by now.
You've got it 100% right. I think there's no barracks for red, so like you said, there's not really many units that can go across the cap. We see the first transport boat now for Tomahawk, so some of these infantry probably going to head to the west of the map, I'd assume, and not launch like an attack on Blue's base, because that'd be very difficult to crack at this point. And there's an earlier question about whether there's naval blockades in this game, and the answer is definitely. If Blue had enough boats here, they could kind of just box these subs in and make it very difficult for Tomahawk to do anything with them.
So, I don't know if you just saw that then, but those two ships got very far up here, didn't see the submarines until it was too late. So that shows the stealth capability of the submarines, and it does look like Blue is already adjusting. These are destroyers which have the depth charges floating around. They are better at destroying a submarine, but 1 for 1. Who's going to win in that death match, a submarine or a destroyer?
In a 1-for-1 battle without any micro, I'm actually not sure. I think it is a destroyer that wins that battle. If there's micro where the submarine player is jumping in to shoot a torpedo and then immediately racing back out of range and then repeating that, I believe the submarine could win. Someone in the chat says a destroyer, so the destroyer probably wins a 1v1. I just don't know by how much.
It can't be too far off, can it? Philip Borovsky, if that's how you say your name. Resources are unlimited, but you have to control them, which is... Now, there's never going to be a point where you don't need more resources. You're always going to need more. Look at this. Did you see that? The black puff
Yeah, these are anti-air missiles.
Absolutely.
Heading to land. Oh, so Tomahawk's out of gas.
Yeah. Tomahawk is out of
Yeah, so
fuel.
that's why these can't move.
Yeah, this is the question of how do you get fuel? So, yeah, there's refineries here. He's just built the second one. But if Blue was to destroy these 2 refineries now, all the Navy would be gone. It'd be useless, right?
Yeah, one of the quickest ways to win a game with the naval elements is to destroy your enemy's energy sources, whether that's the refineries that we see on screen or power plants. And if you can do that, then it's just a bunch of wasted units that are sitting in the middle of the map, not being able to move, and you can just move your boats up to their coastline and destroy all the docks, and then just get naval control, and that's a huge part of it.
Absolutely.
You see a submarine pen in the north actually now for Tomahawk. Good spot.
Yeah, that is a sneaky one. If we can see, Blue cannot see this being built, which means he's got no idea that there's going to be a load of submarines up here. However, he has managed to get a ship up here, probably just to see if there's a city being built up there, but they've got no idea these submarines are here, so Tomahawk could actually build a small fleet here and unleash it on Blue, floating around. That could be very devastating if the main fleet moves around. Have a look at this. The navies are about to clash. However, this is from Blue's view. He doesn't know all those sorts of submarines are there until he gets just a little bit closer. Is he going to react in time? Oh, he's going for it.
I guess we'll see him, and the submarines are retreating a little bit.
Who's going to win that, Soda?
I think there's enough submarines here, and there's not enough destroyers for Blue. This is mostly missile ships that we see for Blue. There's only 2 destroyers, and with what? There's like 11 submarines or something here, and importantly, a cruiser for Red.
Yeah, those
doing most
cruisers
of the
very
damage.
powerful, aren't they? A quick question to everybody in the chat. Can you hear the game sounds okay? I've got it on a little quiet, but let me know what you think. What's going on here? Has red finally managed to take this province?
A little bit of a... Yeah. It'll be very important for red to cap this left side of the map. If AK can develop the right side of the map as much as they have been lately. So infantry versus infantry battle on the left-hand side. Maybe some tanks could be used over there.
Yeah, he did have some that weren't doing anything. He might have shifted them over, but looking at the map now, overall, looks fairly even, doesn't it?
Based on the territories, yeah. If we hover in the top right corner and check the ecos here for both players.
There is that.
So this is Tomahawks at 700.
Yeah, so that's red, and then blue is on 960. Ooh, that's a big difference. What is that going to mean? Surely you would think with all this extra income, blue will just gradually dominate the whole thing. It's got more money for ships, it's got more money for production. Everything. Money is key in this, isn't it, really? As well as fuel.
Absolutely. Yeah. Fuel... I mean, fuel allows you to perform the operations you need to do, but economy really gives you a basis for even being able to attempt those operations to begin with and build all those units. You're totally right. Economy is a huge, huge part of this game.
As you can see, blue actually has a bit of money in the bank now, which he could easily plop down some extra buildings. He's got plenty of... He's gone around and captured all of these sea territories. That's going to add up to be a significant amount. And it doesn't look like red is going to be able to grab that land back. He might be feeling confident after chasing the blue's navy away, but blue is responding by sticking it all back together by the looks of things. Still producing plenty of units. Interesting composition of Air Force there. We have the helicopters and the interceptors. Interceptors are very good at spotting units. Do you think he's going to use them for a bit of recon?
Potentially. That's how I like to use them. I mean, most times I play, my build is that I open up an airport and I build an interceptor immediately to scout. So if this is AK's view, there's no... I mean, they can see how many buildings there are, but it's good to check the number of units that your opponent has. Scouting, just like any RTS in this game, it's very important.
Look at this. This is nice.
Helicopter interceptor is a great composition, but it's very weak against SAMs. I feel like it's one of the high skill compositions, because if you can use your planes where the SAMs aren't and get the helicopters in there and do their damage and then out quickly, it's very strong. I rarely do this though, because I'm not. I definitely just lose a gazillion helicopters.
I'm also not very good at the helicopter play. We can see some movement now from red. Lots of units, which is visible to blue, heading up to the north. If you're blue now, what would you be thinking? Because surely you'd expect an attack sometime soon. It's been fairly quiet so far.
I think you're right in the read that you would expect an attack, or you would be very confused as to why these artillery pieces are heading up to the north. What you might think is that these artillery pieces are going to dig in along this town here to protect it from Navy, indicating that red is trying to build this town and start building this trade route, which would be a great way for Tomahawk to get back in the game, even though the ecos are so out of their favor at the moment.
Yeah, we've still got 776 for red. And 1,030 for blue. It's only growing. Oh, here we go. This is what the interceptors are best for. This blue line is what the interceptors are going to follow now. And it will reveal many things. Currently, you can see only what he knows is there. It's revealed 2 airfields, refinery. The SAMs are firing, but it's not going to be enough. This is a great scouting run. This shows really that the main base is quite undefended, does it not?
It's actually a good point. We didn't see a lot of units there for red. I don't know if AK sees that and thinks I'm going to start invading. Potentially, because there's this transport boat. But with only one transport boat, it's not like blue's going to be able to reinforce that too much. And as mentioned, I still think blue probably is happy to just let this game keep going. You just don't want to throw at this point if you're blue. You've secured the bottom left, all those trade routes that you can build. You're working on the top right that has a bunch of economy as well.
Just look at the money, though.
If it was me, I would just
11.30.
yeet everything into this red landmass and lose it.
Well, thankfully it isn't. Blue is definitely... He's building up this south-western island now. Obviously feeling quite secure, otherwise you wouldn't build it up. Got some barracks building on it with a dockyard. Potential for a naval invasion to happen. That's going to be a very sneaky backhand blow if that does happen. Economy's still growing. 1,100 and going strong. Red hasn't really moved. Just shy of 800. Looking at it, he's at minus 12 a minute, Soda. Is he overproducing? Is it because of the maintenance of the subs? That seems to be the main source of what he's got. It looks like blue is going for a dabble while there's not too much there.
All of these units that you see require upkeep and take away from that economy for anyone who doesn't know. So it just means that the number of units, the number of production structures, and how many units that red is building is just greater than how much income they are making. And if you're, in general, if you're below, I think even 200 a minute, it's you can feel your economy slowing down. It's a little bit tougher to keep up the pace.
It would look like
Blue interceptors are just crushing here.
Yeah, looks like they're trying to take out the SAMs. Blue is definitely having a tickle, sending lots more Air Force over. One SAM is not going to be enough on that. There we go. So now this means that blue has air superiority over the area. Some helicopters coming in, but there's going to be a big clash here soon. Blue cannot see all of the submarines, but you could expect them to be quite a few there. But if blue goes forward, it's a bit of a risk because you cannot scale what you're actually going to be up against there, surely.
Yeah, you're right. Like, there's a number of destroyers that are here, so over time they'd be able to see all the submarines. But at the beginning, it's a very scary fight to take because, like, you can see it. Well, how many subs are going to pop into view here? Like, only this many or, like, 20 more, right?
You've got no idea, but he's got plenty of destroyers there, so he's definitely changed his production priorities to help deal with them. No idea who's going to win this, but I think this might be the deciding factor. There we go. I think he gave up in the end. It was very clear that blue had majority of the map. Look at this. This is the overall score, the value, which is generally... There we go. Where's the income? The income is just too big. You cannot sustain that, can you? The gap.
No.
There's no way. So,
congrats to both.
Yeah, very well played.
Also,
Akhmitsk, well done. You are the new champion. There was another player who everyone had their bets on. A guy called some says my nickname sucks. He was the favourite. People were disappointed. But Tomok defeated him, did he not?
Yeah, in the lower bracket final, which if you don't, I'll self-plug if you don't mind.
Yeah,
which is on my YouTube, on my channel. We casted a bunch of the tournament games. If you're interested, thank you to T for having me, of course. And then, there's like a Twitch TV. That's if you want to watch the game.
Absolutely, Soda Quackers.
But yeah, Tomok beat nickname in the lower bracket final.
You've got it all recorded on your channel, I think. If you are interested in this game, I do highly recommend subscribing to Soda Quacker's channel. He does cover this game a lot more often than what I do. As you know, currently I'm fairly busy with the Great War Western Front one. But honestly, have a check out of his channel. He's got loads of battles on there. We have the free-for-alls, the teams. We're going to actually go into a team battle after this one, just so that we can see more of the different styles of gameplay that go on. I'm actually featuring in one of these. But yeah, check out the Soda's channel. It's very good. Make sure you subscribe so you can see. There you go. It's just plopped it in the chat there. Have a quick gander. Go make yourself a cup of tea. I'm going to go and have a look at these other CD keys. We'll give it 3 minutes go to the bathroom, make yourself a cup of tea, then we will showcase a team game. I'm not going to go anywhere, so you can always ask me lots of questions. Or Soda, I think Infenza is going to be popping up if that was him who just joined the channel. Was that you?
Yeah, that's me.
Ah, there he is. This is one of 2 developers. He has just landed. If you want to ask him any questions while people are having a wee and sticking the kettle on, go for it. He can see the live chat.
Yeah, nice to be on.
And
early
folks
for
that
me
end
here.
up getting keys, make sure to thank Infenzio.
Yeah, you're welcome.
There's no
So always fun to have some more players come in to join in on the game as well. So you're very welcome to just match up and join the Discord as well and team up and play against each other.
In fact, Infenza, do you want to get the Discord link in the chat now while we're just having a 2-minute?
Yeah, I'll go grab it.
Lovely jubbly. You're getting ads on the stream because it's a monetized stream. So that you can get support, special play stars. Oh, Romad, hello. Romad is a regular player of the game. YouTube new policy. Oh, what's wrong with YouTube? Do you not like YouTube, Philip? I don't have the game. Well, Khan, we've got plenty of keys left. I'm going to be dishing some out after... Who makes a cup of tea in 2 minutes? Oh, how long does it normally take you? Just explaining some questions in advance. Yeah. Tea disgusting. Give over. I'll have to ask our lass again, unless Infenza, you don't know any of these people. Right. We'll do one now, and then just before we start the next one, everybody in the chat now, smash the moist button, and you may be in for a chance. Infenza, you don't know any of these people, just pick one of them at random. Everybody go, shout moist.
I'm closing my eyes this time. I'm going to just open them and pick the first name that pops into view now. So
I'll tell you when to go. There's still plenty of coming in. All right, go. Have a look. First one.
All right. Cone.
Cone,
That's the
you've
first
got
one.
one. Where's my pen gone? I've lost it. I've just had it. So we have Cone. You will receive a key of the game. Wait, really? Well, that's who we picked. We've got Cone, Banana. Who was the other guy? Tip got it down, I think. Oh, we've got plenty of keys. We'll do another one. Sod it. All right, everybody, start again. Start screaming T this time. Go. No, not moist. Start screaming T. You got to be on the board with this. Keep going. Go, 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 go. Soda, pick one. Wow, there's so many people coming
I'll do
in.
the same thing. I got my eyes closed. First one that comes in
Go for it.
is
The chat's gonna break.
Lloyd Bonafide.
Oh, wow, it's still
Lloyd
going. Yeah,
Bonafide.
Lloyd Bonafide. Wow, I cannot keep up with that. There we go. Lloyd, I found him. Lloyd. Bonif.
Congratulations.
Yeah, how many CD keys did you pop in? 10 in Fenza, you nutcase?
Yeah.
Nice. That's just ridiculous. And we had...
Nice giveaway. No, you deserve it. Thanks for covering the finals as well.
Well, we're not
for all
finished
the
yet,
streams.
mate. We are not finished yet.
No. But it's good to see you guys pumping up the content. It's fun to see the matches, so we appreciate that a lot as developers. It's really nice to see like the community watching the games and all the commentary that you guys provide. So that's great.
No, it's all good. Unpopular opinion: Yorkshire
Thanks,
tea is
Vincenzo.
bad. Do not ever say right, Banana. I've not given you your key yet, and you're saying that Yorkshire tea is bad. Do not say that again. That is just not right. I'm a bloody American. Yeah, I can understand why you're struggling. Thanks, Banana. Should we do another one? We've got loads. We've only given away 4. Right, I'll get our last to come down. 1 second. She could choose one. Unless Tip wants to choose one. Tip, do you want to come on voice chat, or are you not available to?
Yeah, I'm here.
Excellent. Right, everybody shout Tip in chat. Tip, shut your eyes. And then Soda, when you are ready, say now, and Tip will open his eyes and choose somebody. I'll go get our last. Oh, here she is. Do you want to pick another one in a second? No worries.
All right. Tip in chat. We'll do. Okay, when I say now, you go. Okay.
Okay.
1 second.
Are you
please.
excited?
I know it's hard to read.
Now.
Okay, not crabs again.
What? What is that?
Not crabs again.
Can't even see that. Oh, that guy. Okay, or woman. We don't actually know. Not crabs again. Are you writing all these down, Tip? I've got a list as well.
I am. I've got them all written down.
Excellent. We'll do one more. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 given away so far out of a possible 10. Our lass is now here. She can choose. Say hello to Lisa, everybody. She's my pregnant girlfriend who is going to be plopping our kid out. Our first in August.
Plopping the kid out.
Absolutely. Oh, here's Soggy Bap, another friend of mine.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, Lisa. Hello, hello.
How are you all?
He needs you to make him a mod.
Oh, I'll do that now. Right, everybody keep screaming Lisa in the chat, and Lisa will choose a person. Oh, Bap, I need you to put... Oh my god, there's no way I'm going to get that.
Oh my god, it's not real.
Try and find one. Just pick one.
Rex or French?
Shrek? Oh no. See, this is why I'm not choosing. Shrek's so French, you have a new game. Excellent. Do.
he's like, what?
I
I don't want the key. He doesn't want the key.
Well, are you willing to donate it back? Come on, Shrek. I don't want it.
Oh.
All right, Shrek, you choose who it goes to. All right, everybody shout Shrek.
Oh,
Shrek
no.
is going to choose who he gets.
This could be going on all night.
I know, this is good. All right, Mr. Waffle's getting it instead. There we go. Waffle. Bap, your go. Shut your eyes.
Oh, yep. They are shut.
Everybody shout BAP. That is B-A-P in the chat. Hey, look, I'm on TV.
Everyone loves a good bat.
Not donkey. You're the donkey, Romad. Yeah, BAP, 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 BAP. Right, go on, BAP. Pick one before they break the screen.
Ezrail.
What is that?
Azrael.
Azrael.
Oh, that dude. Okay.
Yeah.
As
It's the first one I saw.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 6 out of 10. Or 7 out of 10. Right, we're going to pause that for the time being. We're going to show you some team play now. Oh, Bap, just put a thing on in the chat and then I can make you a doodah.
Oh. Hello.
Right, I'm muted.
You're muted. All right. Ooh, stop moving it. Can't press the button. Make as...
Well, that must be difficult.
Yeah, I know. There you go. Well, we've got 3 keys left that we're going to dish out in this. Let's go and have a look at a 3 versus 3. I believe it was this one. It's got to be this one. This, but the donkey is the very best of shit. To be fair, Romad, you are not wrong. Let's have a look. While we've set this up, anybody, any questions to Infenza? He is one of 2 developers for this game. Before I go into talking about this map. Quickly, you've got
And in the meantime, Fenzia, what would you say? What are you most excited for? Like whether it's like a tech thing you got to do in Unity, or like a project, like a small feature of the game, or something that you found is more interesting than you thought it would be.
That's
a
already been
general
developed, you
question,
mean, or
very
what's
vague.
coming?
What's presumably what's coming, but like or what's been developed. But I think most folks are probably interested about the what's coming part.
Yeah, I think so. It's quite funny that you should mention that, because we developed the Line War to be a pure multiplayer game to begin with. That was always our ambition, and I think we underestimated a little bit how many people would still like to play it as a single player game. And we've had to focus a lot of the effort on the team development and then polishing the game and getting everything to work properly, and the balance is in good shape now. And after the big update, it looks as we were hoping that it would look. So we're fully focusing from now to add the single player content, just so people can practice a little bit without the fear of getting eradicated in the first match. And so we're quite excited about that. And it's a difficult thing to implement for us, because you can imagine if you're trying to develop a game and you have to start to have we don't want it to be cheating. So we want the AI of the computer to be able to analyze the world and play a little bit like a human. So have it analyze what's going on and drawing the lines. So it's going to take a few months for us to do, and we're going to really focus to do it. And then once that is in place, we're also looking forward to the technologies that we'll be adding in the future to expand a little bit on the gameplay. And that would be, for example, you can branch off later on and specialize some of the units. There won't be any new units coming, but there will be. You can actually decide, maybe you want the tanks to be able to tow an artillery, or turn maybe a transport jet into an AC 130 gunship or something. So there's stuff like that coming in the future.
lots of things to go on for. I've got a couple of questions that I've grabbed, but just before we go on to them, one of them was, how the picking phase go for a 3v3, one player each or team each? Soda, do you want to explain the picking phase for this in the most simplest way possible?
In the most simplest way possible, maybe I'll mess up, but it's each team. So there's 3 people on each team in this case. Each person will pick a zone of interest themselves. And so, like for Alpha Team, for example, all this blue territory that you're seeing, you see that there's different flags in this blue territory. That's where each of the 3 players has decided to go to cover that space. So it's not like one, like both teams will pick simultaneously in each round. Everybody gets to pick one spot on both teams.
Yeah,
did
I
make
know
more
what you mean.
confused?
So you've got both teams, both represent each colour. So you've got blue as alpha, and you've got Bravo as a light green. They all pick individually, but that all brings together as a team selection. The greyed out ones are areas where both teams have tried to grab. So once the areas have been mostly chosen, you then choose your starting location, and that could be anywhere in your team's designated area. So if I was blue and I wanted to choose once, because you pick a load of territories and compete for it like a poker game. Once you've done that, you then choose your final starting position, where you can choose 5 adjacent territories, and you can choose them anywhere in your team's colour. I hope that explains your question. In Fenza, before things kick off, somebody asked, explain the developments that are going to be happening.
Yeah, so I'm guessing the development of the game rather than development of this particular match. So
Yes.
But I think I've covered most of the near future, which is I mentioned mostly about the single player, and just to give a little bit more info on that, we're working on a skirmish player so you can practice against another AI player. We're also trying to design it so you can add an AI player to play against if you're playing a team match, for example, or FFAs, that you'll be able to dynamically just add more of them. And then also we want the community to be able to start creating content as well, because I think there's a big interest to be able to contribute to the game in terms of building missions and challenging other players to do it, because it'll be a lot of fun to build the missions and it'd also be fun to compete and play with them and see who can achieve maybe the most efficient attack on taking something out. So that's we're really excited about that. And then for the multiplayer in the future, of course, the technologies, and also we're discussing infrastructure in the game design document. We've had for a very long time the ability to add it was mentioned before in the match as well, to have bridges, for example, or dig canals, or maybe build some infrastructure in terms of road or fortifications. So that's but like's been mentioned as well, it's only 2 of us developing it, and the further we get into development, everything takes a long time to be able to build it robust, and we have to test everything and make sure everything's good with the automating tests and stuff. So we're really excited about that. It's going to be we're going to continue to develop the games for the foreseeable future, so excited about that.
Yeah, there's lots of things definitely to come. Gradual implementation of these. It does look like this match is about to start. From what we can see, we have Alpha Team wanting to start in this middle block in the center, with Orange doing a nice long juicy line. Oh, here we go. Right. So I'm going to slow this down just for a minute so we can explain exactly what is going on. So that's the wrong one. There we go. So if I zoom in slightly, we have Alpha Team, which consists of this guy, red, orange, and blue. They are all on the same team. These are their selected starting positions. And then we have the other team, this team, where we have a light blue, we're going to call that cyan. We have a light green, which is me. And we have purple, which is Deadlift, which is also in the chat. He's the Leon Moore guy. Looking at this, starting positions, we are pretty boxed in Bravo Team. How does that look to you, Soda?
Yeah, well, we talked about before how the general better spot to pick, which you can see in the tutorials in Line War. If there's a list of tutorials that Fenzi has made, they're coming out on the Line War YouTube channel. I don't know if there's been a link for that. They explain a lot of good concepts in the game. If you're boxed in, you have less access to the rest of the map, so less economy for less territory and less economic development. So I think, yeah, you folks are going to have to bust out of this position at some point.
Well, I already know this because I've played the game, I was in it, but it does look like myself and Deadlift are going for a mass infantry spam, heading straight towards red. I mean, red has gone for factories which take longer to produce, while we have Tim over here who's trying to push orange out of this little area. So it looks like the punching bag of shoving out is certainly going to be on the way. Is red going to be able to hold?
I think we'll have to find out. Red will probably need help from someone.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting start because with the game balance changes in recent versions as well, it used to be very important to start central and expand, but now if the push is early from the contained team, I'd say that it could overwhelm the front lines and the near producers. So it's going to be interesting to see if you gang up on red here. It could definitely be, and it looks like you're flooding it with purple and green there. So
it's desperate
building some defenses there.
Yeah, it's not going to be enough though by the looks of things. Red is not being supported by anyone else. We've got myself and Bat floating around, going straight for the buildings, which are now probably visible. Red is going to get hammered there, while looks like orange and this section is just a bit of a stalemate, but red is going to get hammered back here. What would happen, Soda, if red gets taken out the game right now?
Well, we've seen in team games how it's in general very difficult to come back if you lose a teammate early on. Like Infenzia said, like it's super in the sense that like red and purple, or green and purple, are flooding red here, and if red's knocked out of the game, it's very difficult to win a 2v3.
Yeah, Red would have to build some defense as far back as possible in their own territories. They'd have to start just building some backup buildings, because as soon as you lose all your buildings, you're out of the game. So it's very important to try to. I can imagine the voice chat, if they had that going now, would be like, try to build something back here.
Well, it looks like it's making a mad dash backwards with producing some further barracks back here. But there's so many units around here now. It doesn't look very good for Red's starting position. We have Tim, which is this team, and Orange just gunning it out at the minute. What about Blue? Blue doesn't seem to be doing that much at the moment. What do you make of that?
Well, Blue's got a lot of economy. I don't know, like in Fenzi, what do you how do you feel about like going for economy early versus producers? I know, like, you know, Red and Orange are in a spot where they definitely have to go for producers to fend off this attack. But when you've been playing lately, if you have, do you find yourself going for more economy now that the changes have come in?
Yes, for sure. I think it's very interesting how you can do early pre-constructed builds of towns and even trade routes these days. So I'd say, especially in a team game like this as well, it's quite interesting if you can get one player that can start capturing, building economy. And the game mechanic works so if you're sharing a border with that allied of yours, you can start sharing. You can bring up a menu and start sharing economy. So I can imagine that the Red would be desperately screaming a little bit to get a few funds there. But it's a difficult balance as well, and it requires, I think, whoever can communicate when they play with each other to decide who's going to be building economy or who's going to be building energy and stuff. It's quite beneficial. But definitely early economy is more common these days, which is good, I think.
Looking at it, it's been thoroughly pushed out. Red has nothing to go against the forces which are floating around in the north. The entire Bravo Alpha team doesn't at the moment. So, looks like we're going to infiltrate the enemy team to a degree here, but Blue is now assisting Orange in closing down on Tim, which is looking a bit precarious. Would you be worried if you were Tim at this point? This is Tim. Zelda?
I think. Oh, sorry. I'll jump in on that
whoever.
one. Meanwhile,
No,
I think
sure.
a cluster. Yeah, a cluster of producers like that. I mean, you're seeing a lot of movement towards you. Usually, a cluster of factories can, as long as you start protecting them early, you might want to be able to pull back the artillery a bit, because there's a cluster forming there. So I would be worried for sure in that case.
And Red is continuously being pushed back. All of this area is being captured, which is only going to feed Deadlift more and more. He's got plenty of units back here, but as he does produce more, they've got further to travel to back up the front, and it still looks a bit precarious. All this artillery is now being assaulted. It looks like I've managed to sneak some infantry through to help support Tim, buy him some time. There's not many infantry or anything between Tim and Orange's artillery now. This artillery...
I like the use of the forest there. I think it's quite fun to accumulate some of your units in the forest and then come out of it, reveal them. They're getting a little bit hammered by the artillery there, by the looks of it.
Yeah, but it seems to have distracted Orange for a little bit, buying Tim, this is Tim, a little bit more time, but is it going to be enough? Because that force is still a major threat. Artillery is a little bit slow moving forward if they have things to shoot, like 1 or 2 infantry units, for example. Looks like I'm just buying Tim more time while Deadlift just keeps ploughing down that direction. Could Blue be doing more here? He's got some helicopters on the way, but not much in terms of actual unit production.
I had a couple of questions, if I can briefly touch on those.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, just or do you want to answer that first if it was connected to what's going on right now? That's okay.
Go for it. I didn't see these.
No,
all right, so first quick one was
yeah,
Team
the
Bonder
questions are
used-
more pressing.
Yeah, so how difficult was it to design your own unique movement and ordering system? So I just briefly wanted to say that it was quite scary, because that was one of the key things when the game was being designed, that we wanted something like a World War II map style, that you draw the commands instead and have the unit respond to it. But we didn't know how players would respond to it. We didn't even know if we would like it ourselves. And when we learned to like it, we were thinking, maybe how do we introduce these to a new bunch of players? Are they going to hate it? Are they going to love it? So it was scary. It was quite difficult. We did a lot of testing and whiteboard stuff, but then it was received very well, and we've been really excited about that. So that was one of the first questions. And the second one, quick one, was Scott Kendrick, I think it is, asked if there was going to be a Pac-Man style looping map, so you can go in on one side and out of the other. And the original game design was designed so that it would basically imagine that you're playing on a sphere or a world, that you'd be able to walk around it, so it would be infinite scroll. And the map still tiles that way, so it's possible to do it, but we haven't implemented it. We're not sure that it's going to get to that point, but it's still under consideration. Thanks for the good questions.
Keep the questions coming in. We are looking at the chat. Well, some of us are, at least. I seem to be slacking in it. Tim looks like he's in a bit of a trouble here, with lots of infantry on the way. But is Tim going to die here? Infenza, you've never watched this. What are your predictions?
Yeah, I think it looks quite grim, because that front of artillery pushing slowly, just gradually eating up those buildings, and supported by blue there as well. It looks like it'll be tough to defend. He'll have to panic build, and it doesn't look like he's got that many territories to panic build some backup.
No,
because you cannot build an allied. You can't build an allied territories.
Actually managed to stick some units down there.
Nice.
But that is going to be seen, and he also has a few commandos floating around that I saw earlier here. That might be a possible escape route, but is it going to be enough? This certainly looks sketchy.
Yeah, one thing that's quite interesting in situations like this is that I've been in a situation where I have been eliminated nearly, and then I managed to panic build a barrack somewhere, and I can totally shift my strategy then. So for example, I've gone total commando and then built up a little commando force, and suddenly everyone counts you out. So you've got a little pivot point there to be able to do some tricky stuff, but it's tough especially if the rest of the team is under pressure too.
Yeah, so you can switch tactics quite happily in this. It looks like this force is actually being niggled away, potentially saving Tim. Orange's main base is actually under threat by Tim with a nice little counter-attack. Deadlift is still shuffling many units down, still towards Easy's red team's direction. He's not managed to produce anything to counteract this, whereas Orange is still struggling, and Blue hasn't seemed to have utilised the economy that they have at the moment. Looking at it, Big Red, which is this blue team here, they've got loads of money coming in, but they don't seem to be using it. Whereas Easy, which is red, who's being pushed back continuously, can't seem to keep buildings up. If you were on the team of Alpha, would you be trying to communicate a little bit better? Do you think that's what's going wrong here?
I think the economy is blue is building up, which is great for blue, but it's going to be difficult to share it, because just getting into a point sharing it in the right time and to the right people and being able to have them to use it. Plus, you have to communicate about all the fronts that are going on, and I think it was a very successful push, and we see that a lot more now these days. If someone's cornered, let's see, Bravo team was in the beginning here.
Yeah.
The only option is to push forward and try to both attack whoever is most vulnerable, and also try to escape and maybe get some back capping like you've done over there. And interesting that we see Rocket there. I think it's looking very good for Bravo team at the moment.
It certainly looked a bit more sketchy in the beginning, being boxed in, but that initial shove has definitely caught one of the enemy players off guard, while Blue, well, they just don't seem quite as coordinated maybe, whereas at the beginning it looked very much in Alpha's favour, but maybe the communication has just saved the day. Tim is still in a very precarious position though. Helicopters being sent in by Big Red. The refineries are under attack. which could shut down all of these helicopters, which is a very powerful thing to have if you keep them running. Will it be enough?
It feels like the forces are. I understand that they have to push up and try to get rid of it. So Tim's really holding on there and biting, holding his ground, which is requiring a lot of reinforcements to be sent up there. And meanwhile, that's happening. It seems like the rest of the map is being under attack, and that was a sneaky good attack. Don't know how much it was. That was a nice simultaneous attack there. I love to see that as well on the refineries. I don't think there's too many units. It shuts down the air, I guess, which is good.
100%.
But we see
lots of helicopters being built, which are now all grounded.
Yeah, and we see the when you start to see units around the factories like that, like we see blue in the forest there. That commonly happens if you're trying to be all over the place, and you sort of forget that you've got units ever here and there. So it's a sign that he's under a bit of stress there.
Yeah, because you can only look at one thing at once, and if your attention is being diverted somewhere else, there's lots of ruse happening in this game. I mean, all of this is constantly being pressured. Red is probably screaming for more assistance, but now it looks like a twist in tactics. A lot of this is now being shoved down towards blue, or even potentially orange. That could just turn the tide, as there won't be any support here for orange to attack Tim with.
Oh yeah, those helicopters were grounded in a crucial moment, it seems like, because they could have really been used to attack and take. Those helicopters could have targeted those factories of Tim's and really shifted. So it was a very good and coordinated attack on those refineries, I'd say.
Everyone who is still with us, we have 3 more CD keys of this game to give away, so don't go away. We'll be doing that once we've gone through the bulk of this battle. I will just like to do a quick shout out. If you would like to join the Line War Discord, which is this, I'm sure Tip, who is still modding in the background, can send a description in the link. If you would like a link to Solder Quacker's YouTube, who's also just posted that, he covers this game on a regular basis. If you would like to watch a few more videos, he's got more up-to-date ones than what I do. Be sure to have a look and subscribe to his channel if it interests you. If you are plugging in, make sure you subscribe to mine as well, because you are watching a MoisTea gaming live stream. This is the first one, but look at this now. They are rushing into orange. Is this going to be the end of orange? It certainly looks like it could be. Soda, what are your thoughts on how this battle has gone so far?
I think that Alpha team has done Bravo team, pardon me, in this kind of green color has done a fantastic job to break out. And Deadlift's going to get to the left side of the map. Certainly I mean, it's a 3v2, right? For Bravo team at the moment. So they really should win this game, quote unquote. Yeah.
Is that rocket going to
see
play
the
a part?
infantry in numbers now. That's
Talk about this rocket, don't they have a massive bang? They're a very nice surprise. If you can get a nice rocket in there, that would have ended all of this, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so. The rockets were originally designed to accelerate the mid to late game, because sometimes it could be a bit of a like a stalemate nearly sometimes, because you can build up defense. So yeah, and the rockets are really designed to be able to start leveraging the economy that you build up and start really pushing forward. So it's definitely looking like Bravo team is. If you can afford a rocket and you're gaining map control and pushing back and overwhelming like this, it's.
Well,
yeah.
It looks like two of the players just resigned. We've just got Blue, who is clinging on, so that's pretty much GG. While we watch the rest of this destruction happen, if you've got any questions about the game, do ask in
We have a few questions.
now. Let's go through them. Go on, back.
So we got one from Dr. Banana saying, will people be able to make mods on the Steam Workshop?
That's a good question. We've been discussing mods ever since we started developing the game, and we've I'm trying to. I mean, eventually, I'm pretty sure that we'll end up allowing modding, but it's not a priority at the moment because we have so much still left that we want to implement in the game. But for the long life, and I know the modding communities are big, so I can only imagine that we'll get to that at some point to start allowing it. The one thing that we want to make sure is that that would come at a time where so it doesn't affect the current player base, because when you have a multiplayer game, we're also a bit afraid that it would branch off to many different and people would maybe play other things more than the original, and that would. So we've got a few concerns like that, but in the long run, I'm pretty convinced that we'll get to modding. And then whether it'll be the Steam Workshop or not, we haven't discussed that yet. It could be a different form of modding, but again, nothing at all decided on it yet. So.
Any more questions, Bat?
Yep, we've got one from Philip saying, will there be something like ultimate units in the game? So like super tanks similar to the Rat, or an aircraft carrier flying in the air?
Yeah, I think so. The short answer is no. There won't be anything like that. But what there will be, and I think I briefly touched on it before. Well, okay, that's about the biggest of a super unit that you can get, I guess.
An aircraft. Yeah.
Let's just see what happens. That helicopter pilot was probably a bit panicking there. That was it.
The missile was bigger than what he was piloting. That was huge.
You'd be slightly shocked. But I think. Let's see. Oh yeah, so here are units. No, but the one thing that you will be able to do then that I mentioned was the technologies that you'll be able to shift the current abilities and what some of the units can do. So for example, you could maybe upgrade a submarine to be able to carry one commando unit. So we haven't decided these technologies yet, but you will be able to modify what they can do a little bit to suit your play style, but no heroes.
I would certainly switch up the gameplay a bit with a commando and a sub. Can you imagine the gameplay with that?
Yeah, I think on the homepage as well, on linewar.com, you can actually look a little bit if you're interested to see what we've been discussing in the past. But again, those are mostly, as we come across them when we develop, we go, oh, let's add that to the list because that could be good. But they're all had to be evaluated and balanced, of course.
Any more questions?
Let me have a quick look.
Can you
Anybody have
send
any more?
Philip Borovsky asked, can you send resources to your teammates? And I mentioned that you can transfer, if you have adjacent territory boundaries, you can share resources to those that you've connected, depending on how many boundaries you have between territories. And you can also, if you connect your energy storage, then you can share to those teammates that you've connected your energy storage to. And I'd say that sometimes it can be really beneficial to have someone bunker up a lot of energy, and as long as you communicate, have that player distribute that energy to other players that can focus more of their economy on building a strong force. Those, I think it's very important at high level games, if you can communicate at that level to share.
Yeah, communication seems very key in this game.
Especially in the team game, that is for sure. While we have still some gameplay footage left, thank you for tuning in, sticking with us so far. If you have, we have 3 more keys that we're going to dish out. I'll see. Lisa might be tired by now, so we'll leave Lisa alone. She does have a pregnancy tiredness syndrome at the moment. Everybody who would like a copy of this game, please scream Line War in the chat. I will choose somebody. Guessing there's a lag.
Oh, there we go. That took a few seconds.
Yeah, I think we've got a little bit of a lag. Keep going, gents. Keep going. Keep going. And the game is over. We will go for Firefox. Methel, you're spamming that, but I'll give it to you anyway. Maltahil, Firefox. And Shrek, I thought you didn't want one.
Trying different formats.
You've already had your chance. No, you already got selected. Sorry, pal. We're going to go for Julian. I saw a Julian floating around somewhere. Where was that? Julian. I can't even say that second name.
Yeah, I'm gonna butcher that if I'd say that.
Yeah, that's what I usually do on this channel. Julian Jeshanet. I do apologise. I probably got that incredibly wrong. Jeshanet. Tip: do you have 10 names?
I do.
Excellent. Everybody who has won one, you will receive your thing. Join the Discord. If one of you could stick the MoisTea Gaming Discord link into the chat, that will be good. And then I can private message you with the key. That would be fantastic. Does anybody have any more questions?
I had one from Romad, quantum scientist, said, are the berry bushes on the rich sites for the cities direct nod to Ages of Empires 2? And no, it isn't, because I've done the graphics, and I tend to develop more games than play them, so I don't think I've ever played that version of Age of Empires. Maybe the first one I played. So it's an accident. And then I also want to mention when I see the screen here, that it's quite interesting to see the Empire value here, that Alpha Team had it was even a lot of the game, and then there was a slight edge, as we saw Blue there also built up a lot of economy. So, but I think the coordinated swarming and attacking of Bravo Team there was paid off and had a steady increase there of the graph. So good work.
It was certainly a good match. I enjoyed that one. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This is my first proper ever I can't get line war at my head now. Live broadcast. Thank you for tuning in. Do leave a comment and whatever else. Be sure to check out Sirtip Plays. He plays Euro Truck, Star Trek, and a few other bits enlisted. If you like big dogs, we have Leon Moore. He is also modding, or the Soggy Bap, or the Deadlift.
Yeah, one of them will do.
One of them. It's depending on what the day is. We also have Soda Quackers, who plays this game a lot more than me. Be sure to check out his channel and subscribe to it. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to leave this here. Everyone who has helped make this happen, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I
Thanks,
appreciate
Steve.
it too. Fun to be a part of it.
Excellent job. I hope you all have a pleasant evening or morning or afternoon or wherever it is that you are from. See you later. We'll hopefully do something similar next time. See you in a bit.
Bye-bye.
See you in Fenzia.